So, we're not just talking about some financial cleanup today. No, we're looking at what happens when a country's entire financial system seems to collapse right on top of the very people it was meant to serve. This is a story about trust, about betrayal, and the absolutely devastating human cost when that trust is shattered.
Okay, let's just dive right in. Because this one sentence, it basically tells the whole story. The real crisis here wasn't about numbers on a spreadsheet or stock prices. It was about life grinding to a halt for thousands and thousands of regular people who had done absolutely nothing wrong.
So, what we're going to do here is trace the fault lines of this massive collapse. We're going to look at what happens when that financial safety net just tears apart. And maybe more importantly, who are the ones who fall right through the cracks?
All right, to really get this, you've got to forget about the big city investors and the corporate clients. This crisis, it hit the people at the very bottom of the financial pyramid. You know, the ones the big shiny banks in the capital just couldn't or maybe wouldn't reach. Just look at this list. These are the people we're talking about. A teacher up in Waja, carefully, painstakingly putting aside 200 CDs every single month. A farmer in a tiny village, trusting a local microfinance company with everything they had. They did exactly what you're supposed to do, right? They saved their money and they trusted institutions that were licensed by the state. And for doing everything right, they got wiped out. Okay, so to really grasp the incredible sense of betrayal that these customers felt, you have to understand the man and the bank that they placed so much of their faith in. You see, Dr. Nduom wasn't just some CEO in a skyscraper. He was a household name, a famous politician, a guy who'd run for president 3 times. And he always positioned himself as this champion for the ordinary Ghanaian. He wasn't just building a business. He was, in a way, building a movement. And this was his vision, the People's Bank. I mean, the whole idea was to fight financial exclusion. It was such a powerful promise. We will go where the big banks won't. We will serve the people they've forgotten. For so many towns, GN Bank was the local economy. And this number, wow, it just shows you the sheer scale of it all. Over 300 branches, more than 1 million customers. This wasn't some small-time operation. It was one of the biggest homegrown banking networks in the entire country. A real physical bank in towns that had never had one before. So this leads to the big question, right? How does a bank with such a clear mission, with such a massive footprint, with so much public trust, just vanish? What went wrong? Well, the answer you get really depends on who you ask. And that, right there, is the heart of this whole tragedy. Because when you start digging into why GN Bank collapsed, you don't get one simple story. You find 2 completely different, totally conflicting versions of what happened. And the truth? It's probably somewhere in that really uncomfortable middle. Okay, look at this. It's fascinating. On one side, you have Dr. Nduom saying, hey, the government owed me billions. The audit that you guys ordered said I was fine. I did everything you asked me to do. And on the other side, you have the Bank of Ghana saying, nope, you were insolvent, which basically just means your debts were bigger than your assets, and we legally had to shut you down. Both of those stories can't be 100% right. And this timeline, it shows you just how fast everything fell apart. In 2017, the pressure starts. The central bank says all banks need more backup cash. By 2018, it's a total panic. People see other banks collapsing, and they rush to get their life savings out. Early 2019, they try a quick fix, but it's too late. Just 7 months later, it's over. The license is gone. Just imagine being a customer, watching this terrifying spiral happen right before your eyes. You know, the thing is, the disaster at GN Bank, it didn't happen in a vacuum. Not by a long shot. It was kind of the main event in a much bigger financial storm that just ripped through the whole sector that was supposed to be serving ordinary people. I mean, just look at these numbers. It wasn't just one bank. It was 347 microfinance companies, 53 fund managers, 23 savings and loans companies. Poof, gone. An entire financial ecosystem that served the bottom of the pyramid was basically taken apart piece by piece. And the price tag for all of this? A jaw-dropping 25 billion cedis. That's a massive burden that at the end of the day falls right on the shoulders of every single taxpayer in Ghana. But we have to remember, these aren't just numbers on a page. Behind these huge abstract figures are individual people, individual families, and deeply personal tragedies. This was about life savings, money for school fees, and retirement plans that just vanished.
And this is the most heartbreaking part of the whole story. According to one group for the victims, over 900 of their members have actually died while waiting to get their money back. Just let that sink in for a second. This wasn't just losing your savings. For way too many people, this became a matter of life and death. So this all leads us to the biggest questions of all, doesn't it? The questions that are still hanging in the air years later. Who is really, truly paying the price for all this failure?
Dr. Nduom brings this up all the time. It's like a tale of two banks. His bank in Ghana, regulated by Ghana's central bank, it collapsed. But his bank in Chicago, same leadership, just regulated by U.S. authorities, was declared safe and sound. For him, this is all the proof he needs that the problem wasn't his leadership. It was the environment he was forced to operate in back home.
I mean, really think about that. An institution that for so many towns and villages wasn't just a bank, it was their only bank, just disappears. When that pillar of the community is kicked out from under them, who's held accountable for the huge hole it leaves behind?
And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Financial regulation isn't just some technical thing about balancing books. It has real life-changing consequences for people. So what is the duty of a regulator? Is it just to protect the system? Or is it also to protect the people in the system, especially when their own actions might turn a crisis into a full-blown catastrophic panic?
And at the end of the day, it all comes back to this. This is the fundamental, gut-wrenching question. After all the complicated arguments, what about the market woman in Elmina? What about that teacher in Wa? They played by all the rules. They did everything right. And they lost everything. For them,